finally getting a video done. It's been, oh, I don't even know how long, probably going on 2 months at this point. I'm in Arizona. I am in the Surprise area of the Phoenix Valley at my father-in-law's house, and yeah, we've been here a couple weeks now, I guess this is the third week. It's been a month and a week since we left Idaho Falls and hit the road. Hope the photos and the videos at the beginning kind of gave you a good idea. I tried to write in the captions of kind of like what we were experiencing. We have not gotten a video up on our Sunsets and Sangria channel yet. Hopefully in the not too distant future. It's going to take a while to get a rhythm going with that and everything else. Let's see. So yeah, wonderful 3 weeks. Fell in love hard with Washington State, Rainier, Olympic areas, just gorgeous. Got to spend time with our boys, which of course is always wonderful. And then here in the heat of Arizona, woo, we're basically stuck in the house here. But that's fine because it was a time of getting ready for Marketplace. Needlework Marketplace happens this weekend. I have my models to show you. So pretty much all focus has been on that for the most part, as well as just starting to think about what we need to do to get ready to get on the road again. And that will happen next, I think Thursday or Friday next week. So Needlework Marketplace under the belt, kind of decompress from that for a few days, get stuff packed up and get back on the road. We're heading up to the Grand Canyon first. We've been there multiple times, of course, but we've never gotten our book. I don't think we've been there since we've been getting the stamps in our national parks book. So we'll be at the campground, like at the south rim of the campground or of the canyon for a couple days. And then we're heading up to Spearfish, South Dakota. And you may say, why Spearfish? Not for the Sturgis Rally. The Sturgis Rally is over, thank the good Lord. Sorry for all you motorcycle fans out there. Not one here at all. So Spearfish, South Dakota has a program, law, policy, I don't know what the word is for it, that if you're a full-timer on the road, you only need to spend 1 day in South Dakota in order to declare residency. And what that means is we can get our driver's license, we can register our vehicles, we can register to vote, all of those things. If you're somebody on the road that doesn't have a legal mailing address somewhere else, then you can use South Dakota's setup as your residence. They also have no state income tax in South Dakota, which is another huge plus. So yeah, we'll be heading to Spearfish. I don't know how long we're gonna spend there. And then after that, we head over to Galleria in Missouri. And I am so looking forward to it. My first time there, period. I hope I see a lot of you there. So yeah, it's been, it was an amazing 3 weeks on the road. It's been a very quiet, settled a couple weeks here. Mike has been writing again. For those of you that may not be aware, my husband is a writer. He writes science fiction, adventure. Right now, he's actually working on a romance set in World War II, which is really out of his typical genre. So I'm interested to see. He hasn't let me read. I haven't asked to read any of it yet, but he will have me read it once he's done with it. He has not been able to write consistently since we left Florida. He was a full-time author there, and then sales had dropped enough that he decided he needed to go back to work in the federal government. And once he did that, it's like his muse said, fine, you don't want to work with me anymore, I don't want to work with you. And he really can't write if his muse isn't participating. So we were only 2 or 3 days after we left Idaho Falls, and it was like somebody flipped a switch and he said, I need to write. And he's been writing every day since then, which is like a miracle considering how it's been since we left Florida in 2017. So that has been very exciting to see. So yeah, we are doing well. I was able to go to Acorns and Threads in Portland and meet up with some friends there. I went to the attic this past Friday and got to meet Karen and Brendan Kirk from Fox and Rabbit, which is just was so fun. I didn't get any photos. Everybody else got photos, and I didn't even think to hand them my camera. I don't know what I was thinking, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Saw Laura and Brenda there, just all kinds of people. It was packed because it was the weekend of summer school. And I was not registered for summer school, but I went over to meet Brendan and Karen and the other folks, and also to take a new to me, antique sampler that I had gotten. And if you follow me on social media, you have seen this amazing piece. I took it in to show Jean Lee, the owner of the attic, and then she asked me to come back Saturday evening. So that was Friday. She asked me to come back Saturday evening to a session they do every summer school called Show and Share this sampler with the group. And I was so, I wasn't registered, so I was just thrilled to be asked to come and participate, even just that little bit in summer school. I had been thinking about signing up, but sign-ups were at the end of May. And, at that point we were full speed ahead to get the house on the market. And I didn't know, of course, at that point, what my future held. So, when the timing would be for everything. So it was better to hold off. So it was awesome to be in a room with some of the best in the sampler world, in the cross stitch sampler world. So it was quite an experience. And I actually do have a video of that. Mike did video me my little segment of getting up and talking about this sampler. So I will be putting that on the end of this video. I also did a little video of when I took the sampler out of the frame, and I will put that on the end as well. So that's a very quick nutshell of the past month and a half. Life is good. Life is very good. So I have, like I said, my Needlework Market releases to show you. I also have a couple releases that I did for the beginning of August. I have a little bit of stash. I actually did a little bit of stitching outside of work stitching. So I have that to show you. Yeah. Let's get started. Okay, Needlework Marketplace releases. I am very late doing this video and showing you all. Now, I have shown them all on social media multiple times. I've sent out a newsletter to my friends that are signed up for my newsletter. So most of you have seen these already. But if you haven't, let me go ahead and show you. So this is Silver Bells. This is the first of my releases. Now, this is one that you have seen before. This was the exclusive that I did with Maria Kutzner last year in our holiday, what did we call it? Holiday goodie thing? I don't know what we called it, Maria. Anyway, Silver Bells is now going to be released to all stores. So I have a couple Christmas ones. The second one is Feliz Navidad. So the motifs are based on, the borders, I guess I should say, are based on, or come from the antique Mexican sampler that I got, and I am currently stitching the antique, the reproduction of that, and I hope to have that done for release in December. I should, if I can keep consistently stitching on it, I should be able to have that done. So this gives you a little bit of a look. That sampler is huge. The Mexican, the antique is, the reproduction I think is, if I remember the stitch count correctly, it's somewhere like around 267 by 330 or 300. So it's a big girl. This is stitched in overdyed floss on 40 count Havana by Weeks Dye Works. So I chose kind of a deeper, richer background fabric for this piece. I kind of wanted to channel the feel of adobe houses and how some people paint them these really rich colors. This was stitched by Raymond Jenkinson, the awesome model stitcher that I have found. The Silver Bells is stitched on 40 count Aine by Under the Sea Fabric, and that is overdyed floss as well. And of course, I always provide the DMC conversion in these. This would look good on whatever fabric you chose. I'm stitching the model for the antique on Fox and Rabbit Saltbush, just to give you an idea of a range of fabrics that you can choose. Next, Needlework Marketplace release. And I am just so thrilled with this. Florographica 2, and there's some cat fur on it, of course. Florographica 2 Hydrangea. So this is stitched on 40 count Linen is the name of the colorway by Weeks Dye Works. The color of the flowers and the colors in the border are Cottage Garden threads, and then the greens are a mixture of Weeks Dye Works, Classic Color Works, Gentle Arts, and it's all the different ones because this is a 4-parter. So each part is going to have a different flower with different colors and a different border with different colors. The gold stays the same. That is Weeks Dye Works Schneckley. And the outside border is all in the gold. Let's see, what did I want to say about this? So this is going to come out one a quarter, 4 different flowers. Cottage Garden threads and the greens will all change in each of the releases. They're all about the same square size. I think there's a couple that might be a stitch or two different. I have provided, I don't think it's active yet. I think I set it to go live. I did a post is what I'm talking about. Tomorrow or Friday on my website, on my free pattern page, I will have the complete border posted there so that if you want to, my idea is that you will stitch all of these together on one piece of fabric. And I do have the total stitch count listed in the pattern. So I've included, so I've put on my website the border for the complete design so that you can stitch that ahead while you're waiting for the other pieces to come out. So I have Hydrangea, Iris, African Daisy, and Tulip. And like I said, the flowers and the border colors are the Cottage Garden threads. And I absolutely adore how these blend, kind of like when you get a really rich hydrangea and you know the colors, the blues and the pinks and the purples all kind of blend together. I love that. Now, I have also put on my website on the conversion page. So let me back up a second. There is a DMC conversion included in the pattern, but of course the DMC will not give you the blending that you see with the variegated flosses. And this is kind of building on my Palace of the Winds variegated floss study. Again, using the variegated floss to create a flow and a blending of colors. So the DMC conversion is included in the chart, but of course it is not going to give you this look. It's just going to be blocks of solid color, right? On my website, on my conversion page, I have included conversion for the Cottage Garden threads to Weeks Dye Works, Classic Color Works, and Gentle Arts. Whatever I could find that was close. Of course, there is nothing that is the exact same color as what I have used. I encourage you, if you want to do this, to find the Cottage Garden threads. There are enough enough stores in this country that are carrying them now that you should be able to find them. And I really need to list those somewhere because I haven't yet. I'm not totally aware of all the ones, I don't think, but I encourage you to use, it's just 2 cottage garden threads per section. So 2, 4, 6, 8 altogether, right? I encourage you to use the cottage garden threads, to look for them and use those. If you can't find them, if you just want to use the Weeks Dye Works or the other overdyed flosses, you certainly can, but you will definitely not get the same look. They are, like I said, there's none that are exactly the same as Cottage Garden, right? So it's not that it won't look good, just don't expect it to look like the model. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. And last but not least, because we are all queens, Huntington Hall. So this one is stitched on 40 count Dusty Road by Seraphim. I think it's Dusty Road, not Dirty Road. I always get that kind of mixed up in my mind, but I think it's Dusty Road. Using overdyed flosses. Again, there's a DMC conversion. This went through many different renditions. I knew I wanted something with a lot of blues, and I was thinking Game of Thrones, Outlander, Castle-ish, channeling, halls, tapestry. I had several different attempts before I came up with a collection and a balance that I was really happy with. I love that curly Q motif in the center, and of course topped with a gold crown, because like I said, we are all kings and queens of our own palaces. So I just adore this. Now let me talk a minute about the frame. I ordered the frames from an Etsy shop, a very reputable framing company on Etsy. And the frame itself is gorgeous. I mean, it's a gorgeous frame. This and I ordered this and the frame for another piece, and they came the week we were due to close on the house. I needed to get both of them framed and photos taken before we hit the road. I didn't want to be framing things this big in the trailer, although I will have to in the future. All I can think is that my brain was so stressed and out of whack that when I looked up the dimensions for the frame, I just gave them the, adding the 2-inch border on for, extra fabric for stitching, so you have enough for framing. That's the dimensions I gave them for the frame, instead of just like an inch. I don't usually like to have this much fabric showing around my pieces. I was thinking an inch. So I had very little fabric with which to mount this. And it is pinned, it's not laced, it is pinned onto some foam core. I was so upset. I was so stressed anyways with trying to get everything done before closing. And then to have these 2 frames come in, and the other frame was for the sampler I did for the Sampler Guild of the Rockies. That one didn't fit at all. I just had to take a picture of it, stretch it as good as I could, and take a picture of it without a frame, which is fine. It looks fine. And I actually took that sampler down to the attic to have it framed by them. And that will release at market next year. But yeah, it was a rough few days. But anyways, it is done. It is lovely. So, like I said, this is late in the game to be sharing my Needlework Marketplace releases with you, because many shops want you to have your pre-orders in before this. Barefoot Needle Art, their last day, I think, is close of business today. I don't even know when I'll get this video up, so you may miss that deadline as well. But anyway, I would still encourage you, if you haven't seen these before and you're interested in any of them, reach out to your favorite shop, wherever you like to shop, and let them know you would like to place a pre-order. I have a feeling they'll still be happy to take your information. International shops, you are not left out of this one because this is a virtual show. There are quite a few international shops. Europe, let's see, Netherlands, I think there's a shop from Belgium. There's at least one shop from the UK. I don't have the names in front of me. There's several from Italy. Casa Sanina, I know, is one of the ones coming from Italy, coming virtually. And the nice thing about the way this shop is set up is that all these international buyers can place orders from us. We are going to be shipping our orders to one place here in the States, and those people are going to be boxing up those orders to the shops. Like, all the orders will come in for one shop, and they are going to box them up and just have one box sent to the shop instead of a bunch of different orders. So shops just have to pay one shipping cost. So that's a huge advantage for the international shop. So if you are interested in getting a paper copy of any of these designs, or any of my designs really, because they can order anything they want from me, then I encourage you to reach out again to your shops. If you are interested in knowing if your shop is attending, let me know, and I will look it up in the listing that I have. Okay, beginning of August, I also did a couple releases. Now, one of them is Tranquility the bird, so that is now available for all shops to buy. I have a box sitting here with all of my models that came back from a trunk show that I have not opened yet, and it's sitting in there, so I don't have that to show you, but you've seen Tranquility many times before. And then the other release was my next two ornaments, vintage Christmas alphabets. I should really know the name of my designs. Anyways, R and S are available. I will be getting these and Tranquility up in my Etsy shop probably not till we get on the road, after market. So end of August, beginning of September, the PDFs will be available for these. I have T and U coming out in September. V and W coming out in October, and X, Y, and Z in November. And that will be the end of my Vintage Christmas Alphabet series. I got it right that time. So that is those. Maria is doing my finishing now on these, and I'm so thankful for her. Okay, so that is all of my design stitching. I mentioned that I did get a little bit of other stitching done. And what I chose to stitch on, and this was last Sunday, what I chose to stitch on was the mandala. So of all those different things that I had to choose from, I decided I'd been stitching, a lot of my upcoming designs are smalls. You know, the alphabets are continuing, and I have several other small things that are coming out. Oh, speaking of which, I have something else to show you. All right, I can't find the model. It's around here somewhere in a box, I hope. It has to be. It has to be. But anyway, this is Fall Sunshine. This is my first publication in a magazine, and it is coming out in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. I believe next month. They've already put the preview front cover and the slideshow up on their website. So I think it'll probably be at stores next month sometime. So this is called Fall Sunshine. It is stitched in overdyed flosses, and the fabric is 36 count cobalt, or maybe topaz, by Fiber on a Whim. my first publication. And this is the first in a series. It's called the Sunshine series. So I am thrilled with that. Now, the mandala. Let me show you this. So I was saying that I've been stitching on a lot of smalls. And while I love stitching my smalls, I love stitching my stuff, I love stitching big things even more. And so when it came to last Sunday, I was like, you know something, I'm gonna take a little break from stitching my own things and stitch something else, and I want it to be big. So I got out this one. This is Cross Stitch Collectibles Mandala 8. You may remember this beauty. This is from the bookmark size of one of their mandalas. Now, I don't know whether they're still doing it. I haven't looked in a long time, but every month they would take one of their mandalas and create a small free pattern from it. And so this is one of those. This one, when they put up the bookmark size for free, I loved it so much I had to get the full size. And so I decided that's what I needed to be working on last Sunday. I did get some of the flosses, probably about half of them, pulled before we left Idaho and put in a bag. I don't have all of them, only because I probably have all the colors, but if there was only one of the colors left in my drawer, only one skein left, I didn't want to pull it and have it sitting in this project for Lord only knows how long. So I did not have this in Pattern Keeper. I do as much stitching as I can in Pattern Keeper, and of course all of my designs are compatible with it. I did not have it in Pattern Keeper, although I am sure that's what I had been using. So I had to take a couple hours and get it back in there and mark off what I had done. And I had only done like that much. You wouldn't think it would take that long, but it's so confetti heavy. And, you know, I had to be sure I was marking off stitches I had really done. So I had to be very, very careful about it. It took a couple hours to get it into Pattern Keeper. But then I spent the rest of last Sunday, as much as I could, stitching on it. So I filled in some in the middle there, and, you know, you can kind of see the outline of the leaf starting there, the veins of it. I don't know when I will pick it up again, but it made me very happy to work on it for even just a little while. So, okay, that is my stitching. Now some goodies. Okay, first and foremost, another goodie from Maria. She's so good to me. So you may remember the big bag she made me that I showed you in the last video. This has been such a perfect, oh and look, it's covered with cat fur. This has been such a perfect thing for me to have my supplies in for stitching my models. It is in the process of getting repacked for the next set of models I will be stitching once we're out on the road again. But she liked the fabric so much, the main fabric, that she got more of it. And she made me one of her little portfolios on the go. Let me go ahead. I adore this fabric. The sayings on it, perfectly imperfect. Good things come to those who work together, which is like a perfect description of me and Maria. Love is the answer. Pursuit of happiness. Love one another. Do all things with love. Dream. You know, be the change. Unity. All the things I believe in. So, and this has, so it has an outside zipper pocket. It has a slip pocket here. You can see it has a nice little tab closure, snap closure, and she has 2 snaps here so that as this thing grows with stuff stuffed into it, there's room for it. There's a nice big thread bed here. There's a slip-in pocket here, a slip-in pocket here, and a vinyl pocket here. So this actually is holding the models that I'm currently stitching on. I'm not going to show you all of those because we don't want to give away too many secrets, but this goes with me in the trailer. The tanker bag, the big bag stays in the car, and I just pull stuff out of it as I need it. It also has where to go. Oh, I think this is adorable. She also makes for these matching little Ort savers. How adorable is that? Now, if you would like one of these, Maria does have a website. You can contact her through that. She is on Instagram, she's on Facebook, but I will put her contact information below if you'd like to reach out to her. She is happy to work with you to custom, as far as the fabric is concerned, something just for you, because she's good like that. All right, I mentioned the Rocky Mountain Sampler Guild. Hold, please. The sampler that I did for them, their meeting was August 12th, so that was revealed to them then. Like I said, I don't have the sampler itself to show you because it is down at the attic getting framed. But they had made floss rings with a picture of the sampler, the center of the sampler, as a gift for their attendees, their members. And they also had these thread counters. So they sent me as a thank you what they had given to the members, which I thought was very sweet of them. I also got 2 more packs of the variegated flosses from Vicki. I'm not going to open these up, but needless to say, of course, gorgeous. When I got here a couple weeks ago, there was a pile of things to open. It really was like Christmas. And I love, of course, as you know, I adore Vicki's flosses. I also got the next set of the fine floss from Fat Quarter Shop. This is NPI. So another one has been shipped already. So I am continuing to build my stock of NPI flosses. I got the next set of, for Fox and Rabbit's Patreon, I am in the tier 4, so I do get fabric from them every quarter. And I got the next set of that. So this is a pretty blue called Ocean Air. And of course, I have no idea how this is showing up on camera, but it is a pretty light blue. And then this one is called Oyster Mushroom. And this is kind of a pretty pinkish brown. It's really pretty. Okay, and then while I was at Acorns and Threads, I did pick up a couple things there. I'm trying not to pick up too much, but I did pick up a couple things. So more fabric. This is 36 count Mad Hatter a tea towel. I need to put my glasses on for this one. What in the world did I get? This is Dames of the Needle. Oh, Mad Hatter's tea towel. Duh. Apostrophe S. So, Dames of the Needle, 36 count. Really, really pretty neutral. And then I also picked up the Sampler's Not Forgotten, French Garden. I do have English Garden. I actually have English Garden started. Someday I may get back to it. But that is that. At the attic, I didn't get a whole lot at the attic. Like I said, it was summer school weekend. The summer school started Friday night. So this was Friday afternoon, and pretty much, I would say half of the attendees were in the store shopping. And they had a, get a number to stand in line and they'll call you when they're ready to take your order type of thing set up. It was at least a half-hour wait, and I didn't get a number in time, and we wanted to get back on the road to get across the valley. Again, it's about an hour drive for us to the attic. And at that point, we would have been caught in rush hour. So didn't want to stand in line too long. So I didn't get to look around, and I didn't get a whole lot, but I did get the start of flosses for the German sampler. First, I wanted to show you a couple other things though. So I mentioned that I have some things in my folder of models that I've started to stitch on. This is the colors for one of them. This is something that will be coming out at market next year. And this is all DMC. And then this is the colors for the Mexican sampler. And again, this is Vicky Silks. A mixture of the solids and the variegated. Love working with those. But I got at the attic was a start at choosing the colors for the German sampler. And I am using the Crinkle Crinkle. I am using the silks, the 100.3 silks from Avera Soie. And just a quick glimpse at these. Many thanks to Kathy Ray, the owner of Needle in a Haystack out in California, for helping me to pick these. There are more in here, but I want to show you the sampler. I will probably be starting to chart this probably once we hit the road. This is amazing. So let me tell you a story. This is a German sampler. It is German Saxon from the early 1700s. I did get it off of eBay. I was shocked that I got it. And there were several other people at summer school was like, I almost bid on that. Oh, I saw that. Karen Kirk kept saying to Brendan, why didn't you get that? How could you not have seen that? It was fun. Nobody else bid on this. I got the reminder email from eBay. We were probably on the road maybe a couple of days. I don't remember. And I thought, you know something, when I first saw it, I sent a picture to Maria. I was like, look at this. This is amazing. But I had just gotten another sampler. We were in the process of packing up, and I was just like, I just can't right now. But I got the reminder email, and I was sure somebody, there was a make an offer. This is one of these eBay items that you could either bid or make an offer. And I was sure somebody else would have bought it. But I got the reminder email. I was like, okay, it's still available. I am going to go ahead and put a bid on it. Thinking, and it was still just the original bid. Thinking that somebody would definitely outbid me because this is such an amazing piece. Nobody outbid me. I was sure, and that was like 12 minutes left in the auction. I was shocked and astounded, and it was waiting for me here when we got here. So it's long and skinny, and this is the front, because I learned from another woman at summer school, Grace. Hi, Grace, if you're watching. She is working on a Saxon sampler, and she is learning all kinds of things about these type of samplers. But in those days, their looms were only this wide. So this is why you often see samplers of this size from that era, because they didn't make wider fabric at that point in time. There are 2 dates on this, and I'm going to get my glasses on just to confirm, because I had a bit of a conversation with Ray Niles about what the date is on this one. And I think she's right. I thought the one date was 1717, but it's not. It's 1712. The one date is 1712. The second date is 1713. And the initials on it are CRS. And that is all we know. So I'm going to try and hold this up for you to see it. So there is the 1712. And I think you can, I don't know whether you can see it or not. The 12, I thought it was 1717 because there's a stitch that has come out down at the bottom, but there is another stitch in there. And you can see it more clearly on the back. And I will be showing you at the back in a minute. But 1712 is when she started. And 1713 is when she finished. So this is, I mean, it has so much going on. There are things upside down. There are things sideways. We have a swan here that's sideways. We have flowers and a deer and more flowers over here that are sideways. We have things upside down and then right side up again. I believe that's because she turned her fabric whichever way she needed to in order to be able to reach those areas better. This is in such amazing condition for being 300 years old. And yes, I am a little bit leery about touching it like this, but it is in amazing, amazing condition. She added on a piece of fabric. She felt she needed more space for more alphabets and borders. And so you can see this fabric is added on at the bottom and or top. So let me turn this over and you will see me. Like I said, I'm going to put a video on the end of this that I did of taking this out of the frame. And when I saw the back, I gasped. So front, back. I still am amazed at the color difference. Now we always know that the back is going to be more vibrant, but the difference in colors is just amazing. Let me turn the peacock around so you can get a better look at him. Isn't that something? The other amazing thing about this sampler is that it's double-sided. So I'm going to use, let's see, let's use these ladies with the heart. I do not know what this symbolizes. Several people said, why are those ladies, those angels, sawing a heart? I think it might be a representation of the Ark of the Covenant, but I am not sure. This is the back side. I don't know how well you can see that those are full crosses. So it is a double-sided reversible sampler. And it is, you can see slightly where the stitches are kind of a little more uneven. There is one place here where you can see she has carried a thread. But for the most part, it is impossible to see where she started and ended threads. Let me turn it over to the front now. Isn't that something? So I plan on stitching or on charting this while we're on the road. I hope to have it ready for release for Needlework Marketplace next year. I am, again, a little leery about handling this 300-year-old sampler while we're on the road in the car. I may try and take some really good photos and chart it from that. If I can get the colors well established before we get started next weekend, then I'm hoping that that will work, and maybe just keep that with me, but keep it in its tissue paper, in its cotton bag, protected, only if I need it. So my plan is to chart it as it is, as the original. I might, I don't know. There's a lot of space between some of the places, and then there's not much space between some of the other motifs. So I may consolidate some, I may not. But anyways, as much as possible, I'm going to chart it as this big long piece. For those of you like me who like these huge pieces, I'm also going to chart it as a medium-sized and a small-sized sampler. So taking some of the major motifs, rearranging it, not having it long and skinny, but more of a normal, if you will, configuration. And I'm thinking that, and then the small one will be, you know, I still want them to have the same vibe and the same feel as the original, but just smaller and more manageable. And then the smaller one will be the same, you know, smaller and more manageable. I think I'm going to chart one of them, that the original, the long one, will be charted in the back colors. And then one of those other two, I'm going to chart in the front colors. I fell in love with it, with seeing the front colors. So I do love those. I gasped when I saw the back colors. So I adore those. So, but I want to have options. Options are good, right? Okay. The bed is now cleared off. I think that was everything. If not, I have no notes. So I'm sure I forgot something. But I hope you all are doing well. I hope you are taking care of yourselves. For those of you in the heat that we've been experiencing this summer, please take care of yourselves. I am really, really, really hoping that the heat in the Midwest has passed on by the time we get to Missouri. We were so spoiled in Washington. It was gorgeous in the 70s during the day, in the 50s at night, and then we came to Phoenix. So I'm ready to get back to the 70s and 50s. All right. I hope I will see some of you at Galleria. I know I will see some of you at Jacob Palooza. I cannot wait. Maria, Teal, Jerica. I can't wait to see you guys. But that is all for me for now. Like I said, next week we will be getting back on the road, and hopefully soon we will be getting some videos up on our Sunsets and Sangria channel, so you can really see all the beauty that we experienced. All right, guys, I love you. You guys take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
We're getting it set up so I will actually have all my bags.
Is that what you're taking a picture of?
I'm doing some video, yeah. It's gorgeous, isn't it?
If I have that, I'm going to be a crying woman. And I haven't stitched it, I'm going to be even more upset.
Hello, my friends. Jan of Jan Hicks Creates here. And yes, we are looking at an antique sampler. Many of you have seen this on Facebook or Instagram. I got this, well, it was waiting for me when I got to my father-in-law's. It is an antique Saxon German band sampler. There are 2 dates on it. Sorry for the reflections. It's absolutely impossible to find a place in the house where it won't have some kind of reflection. But anyways, there's a date there that says 1713. and a date there that says 1717. Yes, they're upside down. It is believed that that is when the woman who stitched this started and finished it. Let's see. Motifs going in many different directions. It is long. But motifs going in many different directions, I believe, because the stitcher, because this is such a big piece of fabric, she turned the fabric this way and that in order to reach it better. Look at these little people down there on the side, little dog. There's a little hunting scene down here. Down at the bottom, I'm actually on my knees on a wood floor, so I'm not going to be able to move very easily. But down here, she actually stitched a different piece of fabric on. So she stitched alphabets and borders on this fabric and then stitched it here, attached it to the bigger piece of fabric. Several different alphabets. There's the hunting scene. These women with a heart. Several of us have speculated that that's a saw, but I also am wondering if it might not be some kind of representation of the Ark of the Covenant. But anyways, the reason I'm showing this to you, look at that peacock. Isn't that wonderful? There's another peacock on here too. Somewhere, I forget where. Anyway, the reason I'm showing this to you, oh, there he is, right next to the other one, is because I am going to take it out of the frame and see what the colors look like on the back. I absolutely adore the colors on the front. If the colors on the back are much brighter, I may provide 2 colorways. I don't yet know how I'm going to chart this, but I will be charting it. But anyways, I want to take it out of the frame and see what I'm dealing with on the back. Hopefully this one will not be glued to the backboard like the last one was that I purchased. And then see if there's something else hiding down here where she stitched this extra fabric on. And if there's anything hiding on the back or on the edges. So anyways, I'm going to actually take this and put it on the bed, turn it over, and start taking it apart, and I will film the process as good as I can. I don't have all my different stands here that I usually use when filming. I am at my father-in-law's house in Arizona. So stay tuned. All right, so I now have it on our bed. Not the prettiest of surfaces, but it's going to have to do. It's the only one that's big enough and high enough to be able to work with comfortably. I believe that this is not conservation framed. It is nicely framed. I mean, the frame is in pretty good shape, but I don't believe, see, there's the window over there causing some glare. I don't believe there's there's no spacers keeping the glass away from the fabric from the stitching at all. So that is Who Framed It, Washington, New York, Fort Washington, New York, or is that Port Washington, New York? That's what happens when you look through a camera. Port Washington, New York. The back is in good shape, the hanger's in good shape, but I'm gonna go ahead and take it apart and see what we're dealing with. All right, I got so excited that I just started ripping the staples out without showing you what was inside the paper. So it is mounted on just corrugated cardboard. And just taking a little peek in here. There it is. It appears that it isn't glued. So, yay! So I am going to take the rest of the staples off, and then I will turn the video back on to lift the cardboard up. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have the staples all out. Let us go ahead and, this is actually turned around. The part I lifted up before is up there. So let me, oh, wow, wow, wow. Look at these colors. All right, I think there's some tape over there on that side. I'm going to turn you off for a second and carefully pick the tape off before we look any further. I am just amazed at the colors on the back. I'm going to go slowly up the length of this so you can really see it, and I'll flip over periodically so you can see the difference between the front and the back. So the part she added on is down here. And I haven't counted the linen yet to see what size, what count it is, but I think it's pretty close to a 40 count. I mean, just amazed. So let's look at these alphabets here. I have trouble seeing all of like the curly cues. This is like a Scottish alphabet, or the type of alphabet you often see on Scottish samplers with the curly cues. I'm sure that's the, proper term for them. The light isn't the best in here, so I apologize for that. But look, muted, faded, and then it's just amazing, isn't it? Trying to get this to stay a little bit more in focus. These ones over here, that border and that alphabet. How's that for a difference? This amazing alphabet here. Now there is no J in these, and she did on, I think, all of the alphabets that I've really paid attention to, started the bottom line with A and proceeded up this way. Look how bright blue that A is on the back. And it's still pretty bright blue on the front. But the rest of the colors, the reds, the pinks, they're totally like the B. Look at the front. Isn't that crazy? Our hunting scene. So the hunter, he was not nearly so dapperly dressed on the front. Look at his like green with a apricot outline, blue boots. Look at him on the front. Our dog with the gold collar, chasing probably a deer. I think the deer has lost his antlers. Our angels, look at the color of the angel's wings. And then back here. Just amazing. And I love the pattern on the dresses. So this is where we get kind of turned on the side. We have a swan, I guess, going this way, maybe. I think the swan has lost some stitches. I think we might have a lion there. A little couple there with the dog. And then we get kind of turned around here. For this stag, oh, there's a heron or something here. It's lost some stitches. Look at that deer. Just amazing. And the peacock. Oh, so let's look at the peacock on the front. Let's turn it this way so we can see the deer too. So you can tell that the peacock has different colors in the openings, but not nearly as bright. And then the deer with the branch in its mouth. Just amazing. Our other little peacock. Isn't that something? This, I'm not really sure what it is. I think it might be a mama swan, and maybe these are 3 babies. And maybe these are her legs. Maybe she's feeding them. And then we have these. Oh, I didn't even notice the peacocks on these before. There's a Lamb of God, I believe, is what that symbol is. A bunch of crowns right in here. And you know, it just struck me. This is like double-sided stitching. I see some end pieces on the crowns, but I don't really see any, you know, threads caught underneath. This is beautiful stitching. So there's the one date, 1713. But do you see what I mean? There's no... Where's the beginning and the ends of these threads? I'm sure they're there somewhere. And there's the second date, 1717, again on the back with the crown. So I hope you enjoyed a look at this sampler. I do not know how I'm going to chart it yet. There's a lot of possibilities with this. I'm just astounded and so grateful that I was able to snag it off of eBay. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that little look at this. I will be back at some point with a regular floss tube, but I wanted to get this out there. You take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. She's a beauty. This is a German sampler, Saxony sampler like Grace's. There are 2 dates on it, 1713 and 1717. We believe that is when the stitcher started and finished. It is in amazing shape for being that age. You're looking, just wait 1 second.
You're gonna be in trouble.
This is the front of the sampler. So you can see it's beautiful colors, but it's faded. Okay, go ahead and turn it around. When I took it out of the frame, I gasped. Oh. It is amazing. It is different directions. She asked me which way it is up. I don't really know, because I believe the stitcher, in order to reach the different parts of the fabric, probably flip the fabric around. We have things upside down. We have little motifs on the sides. Some interesting things about it. We have angels here. Let me stretch across here. We have angels here that look like they're sawing a heart. I don't know what the meaning of that is. If anybody knows, let me know. I believe that it might be a representation of the Ark of the Covenant. There is a swan here. You can see the dark legs. There are 3 baby swans. That particular motif is sideways. She has 3 strings going down to her babies. Maybe it's representing feeding them. I don't know. The peacock in the center is just stunning. There are stags. There are crowns. There's a hunting scene that's now upside down. We have the hunter here. It's crazy. It's running around in here. There's a hunter here with a little rifle. We have a hunting dog, and I believe it's they are chasing a deer here. The deer's looking back over its shoulder. The alphabets are rather interesting. Germanic. It is an Indo-European language, starting, left to right reading. But instead of starting at the top and working down, she started on the bottom line and worked up, and that's how she has done all of her alphabets. Very interesting. Let's see, what else? There's a Lamb of God up here. And then at the bottom, she wasn't quite done after she did some of the alphabets and some of the borders. She wasn't quite done. She wanted more alphabets and more borders. So she stitched a little bit more and sewed an extra piece on. So there's so much going on in this. As Jean said, I will be reproducing this. I don't know, I'm gonna do it on 46 count. I don't know what size fabric I'm going to need if it's a yard. Karen, Brendan, I may be in touch with you to get a special size, a special length, because I don't know whether a fat yard would even work. So, we shall see, but that is the German sample.
Is there a name on it?
It's just initials, CRS, yeah.